A fixture that many argued whoever ended up winning would, let's say, be determining the winner of the Champions League potentially. When the draw was done, everyone had their eyes on this particular draw. It was, of course, Man City versus Real Madrid. The current reigning defending UEFA Champions League winners versus UEFA Champions League royalty in Real Madrid. Both teams currently doing very well domestically. Both are currently on top of their respective leagues. Yeah. And the first leg in itself was so thrilling, so chaotic in the best way. 3-3, all to play for once we reach the AajTak Stadium.
Absolutely. What were those goals? What was it? It's as if, both teams in that first leg were competing for the goal of the tournament.
Oh, yes.
The goal of the season, I think you can easily nominate 2 of those 6 goals that we saw. Yes, couple of those Real Madrid goals, maybe not. But certainly that goal from Valverde that we saw, there was the equalizer which came right towards the end. The Phil Foden goal comes to mind. Guardiola, I don't know what he was doing over there.
Guardiola has now scored back-to-back screamers if you go back even to the previous match.
Yes.
So, and that's a centre-back, by the way, a centre-back.
Exactly. So, and both teams doing what good teams do, what champions teams do. Hate saying that, but it's something you got to admit. As a United fan, they've been the better team as far as Manchester is concerned. Manchester City truly showing credentials of the reigning Champions League, Premier League champions as well.
I mean, they're on course for a double treble.
They are going ahead. They are in pursuit of something unheard in football, which is a double treble.
Back-to-back trebles.
Back-to-back trebles, and that it looks like a big possibility given how that first leg, the fact that you were playing at the Bernabeu, and exactly what we saw, let's say, in the other match as well that took place on the same night, both teams really now playing with freedom, something that you saw in this match. And teams nowadays, they do not care. They do not care no matter where you are. You're a goal behind or a goal ahead. You are still giving everything but the kitchen sink. There's nothing that you need to worry about, and that's what I think enabled both the teams to feel free to play freely, and as a result of which we saw end-to-end stuff, which is again something that I'm expecting at the Etihad as well.
Oh, 110%. We know how it is that both of these teams like to play. There's a lot of good attacking talent on display. Every single one of them going to be wanting to stamp their authority, make a mark. It's a big game. You want to be ensuring that your team does the best, and there's plenty. I mean, there's an embarrassment of riches that's going to be on display from both sides. Well, of course, let's take a look quickly at how it is the numbers are going when it comes to these particular teams, and it's very even, Stevens, as far as the scoreline. I mean, 3-3. Absolutely nothing to play for, or rather everything to play for, nothing to separate the two sides at all, and that's despite the fact that you got 6 goals in the first leg. I mean, these are the kind of fixtures you live for. Whether you're a Real fan, City fan, a neutral fan, it doesn't matter.
It's as the joke that's been going around, it's possibly a Champions League final which is just being played a month in advance.
Absolutely, and if you look at the betting odds as well, you will see there is one clear favourite, and no surprise, that is in fact the home team Manchester City. Of course, conventional wisdom going their way, 8-13 odds, whereas with Real Madrid you're getting 4-1, which of course significantly less favoured in this case. But I mean, I will never count out Real Madrid. I've seen it the hard way with this team. Do not underestimate them when it comes to Champions Leagues.
Absolutely, and let's just go back a couple of seasons back. What we saw was absolute drama. Even though the venue at that time, as far as the second leg is concerned, was the Bernabeu. This time around, it's the Etihad. But Real Madrid, it's a mistake. It's a cardinal sin if you're ruling out a Real Madrid, no matter what the scoreline is. This, by the way, is not the worst scoreline that you've seen a Real Madrid side walk into in a semi-final or a quarter-final clash. Just ask Dortmund that, just ask Atletico Madrid that. There's plenty of other teams that you can go ahead and go cross-check that with. Manchester City, very much even Stevens as far as competition is concerned, but Real Madrid are absolute sharks when it comes to this particular competition. They love nothing more than winning this particular competition, and as history does suggest, the most decorated club when it comes to this particular competition.
Coached also by the man who's won the most Champions Leagues as a coach, player. He's done it. He won it as a player with AC Milan, then won it as a manager with AC Milan and with Real Madrid.
This year, though, the task at hand for Carlo Ancelotti is a little different, and why I say that is because it is an unlike Real Madrid side which doesn't have an out-and-out striker. You gave Manchester City a lot of credit a couple of seasons back when they won the league even without an Erling Haaland in the ranks. But right now, and we'll just discuss about Erling Haaland's form as well, because that is something that's come under a lot of scrutiny. But talking about Real Madrid and the good job that Carlo Ancelotti has done, this side, the 11 that he's put together, and the fact that there's no out-and-out striker, you're managing with a Jude Bellingham, who as a result has plenty of goals, I think, in the La Liga in excess of 20. I think he's around 25 if memory serves me right. But you've been able to put together a system without an out-and-out striker, and you did very well in the first leg as well. So that's kudos to the team, kudos to the manager over there as well. But can the same be replicated at the Etihad is the big question.
It is a massive question, because again, Etihad, usually City tend to enjoy home comforts. They're one of those teams that are very, very comfortable playing at home, taking the initiative, ensuring they're pressing high, ensuring that, the passing patterns, their movements of play, all very, very set. They're one of those tough nuts to crack. The fact that Real Madrid have even got it 3-3 tells you everything you need to know them about a team, though. And one thing which Ancelotti does very well when it comes to especially the Champions League, tactical flexibility. He's very, very good at it. He's not wedded to a particular system or formation, nothing of the sort. He'll do what he thinks works best for the team as well as the personnel in place. And that's one reason why I think this Real Madrid side, full of young, creative forwards, and potentially going to be joined next season by Kylian Mbappe, is definitely one of those teams to watch out for, because there's a lot of attacking talent there. And by the way, once Mbappe comes, he's most likely playing as that central false line figure.
Remember,
Jude Bellingham pushing into midfield.
There's not just him, there's Endrick as well. You're waiting to welcome.
You're waiting to welcome Endrick as well. Dear God, the amount of attacking talent is insane. But if we're talking about, of course, the talent in hand, it's also worth looking at how it is or who it is that these teams have to draw upon. If you're a City fan, good news, there are no fitness or suspension concerns whatsoever. There were a few worries. There was a Rodri who rested in the weekend, a Kyle Walker, there was a Nathan Ake, but all of them are fit.
Even Kevin De Bruyne, over the last couple of weeks now, he's been touch and go at times. We saw he didn't play, I think, the game.
He didn't play the last game. He didn't start. He was ill.
Yes. It's been a season in which he's had to spend some time on the bench. But good news for Manchester City, there's nothing that Pep Guardiola needs to worry about as far as personnel.
Same can't be said for Real Madrid, though, because they are missing an Aurelien Tchouameni. Nominally a midfielder, but also someone who more often than not is deputized rather well. I mean, he had a centre back. In fact, last game also he played centre back. Unfortunately, ended up picking up a booking, which means he's not going to be available for this particular bout. Rodrigo, someone who's made it a business to be an impact sub. He's not going to be available.
Scoring goals against Manchester City.
Yes, I'll never forget.
Absolutely. So he's going to be a big miss. Now, how do Real Madrid manage without a Rodrigo? And this is where probably the fixture will be decided as well, because this is a man who knows how to make those runs behind the defenders. This is a man who has a good conversion rate as well against Manchester City. But looking at Real Madrid, given everything that they have to offer as far as this competition is concerned, I will still go ahead, and I know it's going to be a tough one predicting the result of this match. Again, it comes with a little bit of bias as well, given that you don't want there to be any possibility of there being a double treble. You're already looking at the league being won by Manchester City for all practical purposes. You don't want there to be no double trebles. So I'll pick Real Madrid, not just because of that little bias that I tend to have, but also because you're talking about Real Madrid and how they've performed this year in this competition. So I'm giving them the slight advantage over.
Scoreline, if you have to predict?
I'm going 2-1 for this one.
Oh, interesting, because I've seen with the number of goals I've seen in this fixture, I think it's going to be 3-2 in City's favour. So it's going to be very, very close. I think you're seeing a 6-5 aggregate score, but it's just going to go in advantage of Manchester City. That's what I think. So either way, I think we're split down the middle on this one. I don't think there's a wrong answer, because it's like a 51-49 call. Who's winning it at that particular moment?
Just enjoy the action. It would have been amazing had this been the final of the Champions League, but look at it the other way. You've seen two finals as a result. So enjoy the action. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. For now, we'll take your leave. Do give us a thumbs up if you like what we do over here at Sports Day. And in case you haven't already joined the family, we're growing at a good rate thanks to the love that all of you have been sharing. So give us a thumbs up, tap that bell, subscribe to us, and be informed with everything happening in not just the world of football, but even beyond.